Hey everyone, Doug here with another trailer construction update video. If you guys haven't been following along, if you're just joining us, my name is Doug Johnson. I run a company called Doug Johnson Productions in Orem, Utah. And I am currently in the process of building a live video production trailer. And I put out these videos about once a week, updating on the status of the construction of the trailer. And so this is one of those. It's about 7th or 8th in the series, I think, somewhere in there. Anyway, it's been about a week and a half since the last update, and I have done quite a bit, and we did shoot another event, so I can give you a little bit of feedback on that. So let me actually turn around the camera and start on the right wall here in the trailer. Finally actually have the wall up. My friend Paul, who you met on the channel, came over one day, and we spent a day building this wall. So I had to pull all the monitors down, cut the plywood, cut the openings on the plywood in order for the cables, in order for cable access, and also for things like the power outlets and etc. But did not completely finish. Let me move this chair out of the way here. Did not completely finish that intentionally because I still actually have a little bit of wiring to do. This is wiring for the lighting, and I still have a couple of lines to run there. But as soon as I get those lines run, we can actually finish that up, and then finish the remaining plywood on that side of the trailer there. So it's actually very close. We've got these big holes here. That's going to allow access to the cables for in panels that are kind of like these here on the front. 2 U rack panels that are going to be sitting on basically on top of the desk that's there, and that's going to allow access to connectors for things like intercom, place to hook in laptops, etc. So the desks there's going to be one long desk that goes most of the way back, and then another desk that turns 90 degrees. If you look on the floor, the green markings actually mark out where the desks are going to be, so you can kind of get an idea for what that's going to be like. This monitor here is actually just on the wall temporarily until that desk is built, and then it'll get moved to a moving arm that's mounted to the desk. Let me actually flip this display on here. Putting the wall up actually gave me a chance to put the 55-inch TV on the wall. So I know I've talked about that in some of the prior videos. You'll actually be able to see it in operation here. So it's going through a Blackmagic Multi-View 4, actually a couple of them, and it allows me to have a preview of the graphics that are being produced, so the guy doing graphics can actually see what those look like. And then over here for the PTZ, pan tilt zoom camera area, you'll be able to see 1, 2, 3, and 4 different cameras all at once in real time. And so the camera operator can see what's going on there. Also got the program in the upper right, so they can see what's currently live. And then in the top left position, it's currently set, it says aux 5, but that's just basically that can be whatever, so I can send whatever signal I want to. I can pretty much send any signal I want to any of these monitors because I have signals going through this Blackmagic Design Smart Video Hub 40 by 40. There's actually 2 of them here in the trailer. One there, that's more for monitors, and then one down here for routing signals primarily for the switcher. So yeah, have those. And then in addition to that, there's actually a couple of video patch panels up top, and quite a few signals run through there as well. So I don't know if I've actually shown you guys all the video equipment in here, so just very quickly let me run down those. Of course, up top in the previous video I mentioned that there's a Sony Blu-ray player. It's an older model, it's one I had laying around. It's a BDP, it looks like an S5, the 5100, yeah, I think that's right. And then 2 video patch panels, and then a Keystone panel primarily for Ethernet, but I've also got fiber and HDMI in there, and then one that's just for Ethernet for different places in the trailer, and my 52-port switch. Some other networking gear on a shelf there. It's really hard to see in the video, but there's a Wi-Fi access point, a Wi-Fi client, and then my Edge Router X. Then below that we have the Blackmagic HyperDeck Studio Pro, which records video on SD or SSDs. Below that we have a Blackmagic or right here if you're following along. That's a Blackmagic Teranex Express for video conversion. And then here are my 3 multi-views for consolidating multiple video signals into one for display on monitors throughout the trailer. And then I have a studio converter here, which provides a fiber interface for going out to cameras. And then, as mentioned, the Smart Video Hub 40x40. I have my Intel NUC computers, i5s. I have a server, which is also doubles as the workstation for the engineer station. And then we get down into the removable video rack, where we have a Smart Scope Duo. Slow down a little bit so I can talk without stumbling. Smart Scope Duo on there, and of course, since this is the engineer position here at the back, normally when I'm operating in that capacity, I will have those set up as scopes. And then my ATEM 2ME Production Studio 4K, so that's a 20 input 6 aux 2ME video switcher. That's Ultra HD up to 30 frames per second. And then my second Smart Video Hub 40x40. Then we get down here and we have 3 HyperDeck Studio mini recorders, and then a second studio converter. So that allows me to access those 2 studio converters. Allow me to run fiber for 8 cameras. There are some other components in the back I'll have to show you in another video, which allow me to do additional fiber runs as well. Coming down a little bit further is where I have my intercom rack. So the Behringer UltraMatch Pro, which provides a digital analog interface, so I can send intercom audio to and from the studio converters, which use AES digital audio. And then below that we have my Denon mixer, which basically does the mixing of the intercom microphones throughout the trailer, and then a headphone amplifier providing amplification for the headphones throughout the trailer as well. So, and then there's more equipment down below, which I'm going to intentionally save for another video. So we actually did use the trailer for a miniature little conference last weekend. My friend Paul, who you've met on this channel, came and ran a camera for me and helped out quite a bit. The great thing about that, we arrived like 11:30 in the morning. The conference started at 1. We were basically set up and ready to go, well, 12:15 mostly, and then by 12:30 we were just kind of waiting for the conference to start, just messing around. And we set up 3 cameras plus hooked into the audio feed. So having the trailer really made that fantastic, because setup time was not just quick, but it was relaxing. It was an easy deal. Whereas before, when I had to cart a lot of this equipment into a venue, it was very much rush. Try to get everything done, and even then you're working for 2 hours plus in order to get things up and going. So Paul did post a behind the scenes of the setup for that on his channel, so I'll link to that here in the description down below. So if you want to see that video, that's there. Do keep in mind that it's Paul likes to keep things light and fun, so it's a light-hearted video, and you can see that we not only have fun, but really enjoy what we're doing. So okay, so see, the other thing I've done, and this is much more recent than some of the other things, I finally started to build some of the equipment for the audio booth. And so up top there's an equipment rack, and a little bit hard to tell in the video, but that's actually slanted downwards at 30 degrees, and so it's going to be easy to see from a seated position. And then I've got a very temporary desk in here. This is going to come out once I finally do the final woodwork in the trailer, but it's there. Well, right now it's being used for storage, but if we need to run audio in the trailer, this will be a nice place for the audio guy to work. So in this upper rack, right now we've obviously got a patch panel in there. That's actually going to be moved down a little bit, and then I'm going to put a power distribution unit up top. So this will be power distribution, and then the patch panel, and then pretty much from there we'll be working up from the bottom. The very bottom space is going to be an I/O panel, sort of similar to the other ones in the trailer, although I think I'm going to have the actual jacks for headset be located somewhere else so the cord isn't dangling down on top of the mixer. And then the 3 spaces above that is going to be another Smart Scope Duo, Blackmagic Smart Scope Duo. And the reason I went with that instead of another monitor is so that the guy doing audio can monitor the final audio levels. So that's one of the features of the Smart Scope, be able to let you see the audio level, so we can make sure that we're in the right range, we're not clipping and whatnot. So that takes up 3 spaces, and then somewhere in the middle here, I'm going to place a Behringer. It's an older unit, but I haven't found anything quite like it or better that's affordable. It's Behringer. I think the model is DSP 9024, or maybe it's 8024. Anyway, it's a mastering compressor, and so that will allow us to make sure that our audio levels are high enough without clipping. And so it does a lot. It does a lot of amazing processing. There are a lot of compressors out there, but this is specifically a multi-band mastering compressor, and so it allows you to get the most out of your audio. So anyway, that'll be up here. And wired in. Can't see it, but back behind these units there are cable access holes. I'm going to have one 3-inch hole that's going to be used for running the audio snake that'll connect into the mixer, which will be sitting down here on the desk, and then a second one with Ethernet connections. I haven't really mentioned much about this, but I very often actually run audio over Cat5 cable. Cat5 cable, dirt cheap. It's designed for balanced signals. And it works really well. I have successfully run audio over Cat5, oh geez, a couple hundred yards, no problem at all. It works just fine. And I'll be doing some of that for sending audio from this equipment over here, specifically the studio converters, which do have, these have XLR mic level outputs on them. So I'll be sending the audio from these 2 units over Cat5 cable over into the audio booth, and so I'll be able to patch that audio directly into the mixer, coming out of the wall on Cat5 jacks and then breaking out into XLRs. The snake that's going to be in here is going to use, it's actually a dedicated audio cable. It's a 24-channel snake I've had for a long time, and it'll basically go up to the patch panel and then be able to come down to the mixer. Speaking of mixer, I'm having to do a bit of a compromise on this for budget reasons for the time being. I ultimately will be getting a Yamaha Tf3 mixer. It's not in the budget for right now, so I'm having to hold off on that. The reason I selected that one is because it supports Dante, so I'll be able to do audio over IP, which will mean that I'll be able to set up the remote I/O box inside the venue and then run audio into the trailer over the fiber connection that we've already got set up and working. Part is one of the signals that's part of the trunk. So yeah, and then it'll just come into the mixer, plug in the Cat5 cable on the back, and then that'll give me all the audio that I could possibly need. And combine that with the audio coming from the equipment rack, and then that should be everything that's necessary. Because I've known for a long time that Yamaha Tf3 was the mixer that I was going to get, this audio booth was actually designed with that in mind. It's set up for the right amount of space. The mixer fits in here with a couple inches to spare left or right. And there's enough space front to back for the mixer, and I allocated 6 inches for cables behind. And so if you were to see this in person, it actually feels rather deep for what it is. But for that mixer, which is kind of deep by itself, it's actually the right size. So between the mixer, space for cables, and space for a nice big 28-inch monitor on the wall there, this is pretty much exactly the right size that it needs to be. So I will be installing that monitor in the next week, as well as running audio cables in this next week. And so next time we have an update video, I should actually have some audio signals coming, audio and video signals coming in and out of here. So I don't imagine that the audio booth is actually going to be used that much in the trailer. Most of the time, audio is going to be done inside the venue, and we'll just be tapping into it. If we're doing a bigger event where they want dedicated audio being done for the video, then I can totally do that. for the time being, until I get my Yamaha Tf3, what I'm doing, I'm taking a couple different approaches. I'm going to have my PreSonus Studio Live 1602 set up in the booth, and that will allow me to do some limited mixing. Since I can run audio over any of the cameras in the venue, I can get inputs that way. The other thing I can do, I don't have it handy, but I have a couple of the Blackmagic Design audio to SDI adapters, and so each of those has 4 analog inputs. I'll be able to run 4 inputs into those and then run a signal over fiber into the trailer that way, and then corresponding SDI audio boxes inside the audio booth to break that back out again. The other thing I'm going to be doing, I kind of actually have this here. I've got this Behringer little mixer here. This is XR16 XR series. I'll be able to run this inside the venue, and then it's got an Ethernet port, and so it can be remotely controlled. So I'll run a patch cable from the Ethernet cable here into the network switch that I run inside the venue, and then here inside the audio booth there's going to be a touchscreen monitor on this wall, and that will be running software to control the mixer. So the mixer will be inside the venue. We'll be controlling it from inside the trailer. So between the combination of having the PreSonus mixer in the trailer and having this Behringer mixer inside the venue, I'll be able to handle a pretty wide variety of things today without having to compromise too much before I get the Yamaha mixer. So one other thing I've done, I'd totally forgotten that I had done this, but a couple years ago I had made these adapters so I can use my biodynamic headsets with more conventional audio connectors. So a standard TRS connector for headphones and then XLR for microphone. So it looks like a passive, well, it looks like a very simple thing, but there's actually a capacitor and a resistor and stuff in there in order to make the microphone compatible. But I've totally forgotten that I had made those, and so I ran across them the other day, and I came out here in the trailer and tried them out, and they work pretty well. So I'm going to be installing these connectors in these front panels. I have 3 of them. There's so on these 3 front I/O panels, I'll have those connectors. So, and then there's the other 2 pairs of biodynamic headsets. So I'll be able to plug those in directly. The one big problem with that solution is the microphone sensitivity on the biodynamics is actually pretty low, and so I have to really crank the gain. It's not so much of a problem for other people when they're directing, but for me personally, I don't have a very loud voice, and so I'm gonna have to really remember to speak up so that the system can pick me up well. Other people won't have that problem. Everybody else I know speaks a lot louder than I do, and the gains will be fine for them. But for me personally, I have to really crank the gain on the individual channel, microphone channel, and on the mixer itself in order to really be heard clearly. One question I keep getting asked over and over again, so I thought I'd address it here on video, is what I'm going to be using for a slow motion replay, instant replay. Basically, I'm going to be doing something proprietary. I did a lot of shopping around to try and find a solution that supported at least 1080p 60, preferably 4K 30. However, I wasn't finding anything, at least that was even remotely affordable. And so I pretty much gave up on finding anything. Most of the solutions that are out there, like the 3Play, and there's one from Data Video that looks somewhat appealing. They only do 1080i, or in the case of Data Video, only has a 12-second buffer. 12 seconds just isn't very long. So I've come up with another solution. I can't show it to you yet because it's not done. But at some point when I do have it ready to go, this will probably be a couple months down the road, but I will demonstrate it for you. It's going to have some limitations. I'm going to be kind of honest there. It's not a perfect solution, but it's one that's going to work, and it does support 4K, and of course 1080p as well, up to 60 frames a second. So anyway, so be looking forward to that probably a couple months down the road when I actually have that working. So there's one other thing that I wanted to address in this video. I've been getting a lot of requests from viewers of this channel for help with things, and I'm happy to help where I can, but unfortunately a lot of the requests I'm getting are more like they're asking more for consultation than an answer to a specific question. And unfortunately, I just don't have the time to address that. As it is, I'm working 18, 19 hours a day, 6, sometimes 7 days a week, and I do not have time in my schedule, especially to take phone calls, in order to help you guys out. So if you have a quick question, I'm happy to answer it. But if you're looking for, hey, I need to have a conversation with you, unfortunately, I just don't have the time for that. I wish I did, but I don't. So don't take offense when I don't return your phone calls. I just unfortunately got too many other things going on. You know, I've got about 4 software development projects in the works right now, for other people. That's in addition to ones I'm doing for myself and for the DJP endeavor. I've also got numerous video projects going on, and so I am constantly shooting things. For the next month, I've got at least one event a week. So I've got all that going on, and those usually result in follow-up editing and whatnot, and so those are taking up a fair amount of time. And then I've got other projects too, like this next week I'm shooting a music video and some other things. So I mean, I just have a bazillion things going on, so please be understanding that if you need my help, please try and keep it to simple questions, you know, like what product do you use for this, or what model number is this, or whatever. I can answer those, and I'm happy to do so, but if you're looking for something a little more in-depth, unfortunately I just don't have the time. So I appreciate your guys' understanding and cooperation with that. So with that said, I really do appreciate all the views you guys are bringing in. This video series is fairly popular. I think I get more comments on these videos than I do my others. I do have another one of my more traditional videos coming up here pretty quick, where I talk about kind of review a piece of equipment, and I'm going to have a how-to coming up here before too long. I'm just waiting on one piece of equipment to come in so I can actually shoot that. But yes, so I'm very grateful that you guys are for your continued support, for the views, for the comments, for the likes and subscribes. So if you do like this video, be sure and hit the like button down below, and subscriptions are always very much appreciated as well. And I say, if you do have questions, quick questions that I can answer quickly, be sure just go ahead and leave those in the comments below, or go to my website, djprod.biz, and go to the contact page. There's a link down on the bottom left, and get a hold of me that way. Yeah, I do appreciate all the support, and thanks for watching, and have a great day.